Hello everyone. Welcome back to I Can't Sleep Challenge for Polyships, part 3. This time with KuguInuShiba, my 3 little darlings who haven't been around for quite some time already. Over 2 months, I would say. Last time in Nightmare November, I think. Anyway, challenge is here. Let's get into it. Special thanks to my lovely patrons and all of you who subscribe and watch these videos. You are keeping this channel alive and going. Thank you very much, and I hope you will enjoy. Something was burning. Not literally, but the ice burning holes through his head should be considered a weapon in Inuka's humble opinion. He raised his eyebrows at Shibayama, who only let out a quiet huff before ostentatiously returning to reading the magazine in his hands. The whole act made Inuka snicker, which earned him yet another scorching glare. As if it was Inuka's fault Kuguri preferred to cuddle with him. A soft smile made its way to his face when he looked at now peacefully snoozing Kuguri lying with his head on his lap. Unable to help himself, he brushed the light hair away from his face and had to resist the urge to lean down for a kiss. It was a small miracle that he managed to convince Kuguri to take a nap, and definitely didn't want to ruin it because of his stupid urges to kiss his whole face. Just so you know, I'm taking this very personally. Inuka grinned. Not my fault you came late. First come, first serve. Traitor. Slowpoke. They both fell silent when Kuguri stirred in his sleep, his nose scrunching adorably before his expression evened again. Right, better be quiet. Their boyfriend needed to rest. A peaceful silence settled in the flat again as both went on with their previous activities, though in Inuka's case, him scrolling on his phone was more an excuse to think about the challenge than anything. He wasn't really worried about Shibayama's reaction. Maybe he would make him a bit grumpy, but that wasn't something he couldn't live with. However, with Kuguri, that was a completely different case. He still had in vivid memory his nightmares from 2 months ago, the fear in Kuguri's eyes whenever he woke him up from them. He didn't want to see that again, but considering the nature of the challenge, he was worried Kuguri's overthinking brain could take him on a wild ride. Maybe better not to think about it too much for now. It doesn't have to be so bad in the end. He hoped he was right. The last thing he wanted was to deal another blow to Kuguri's fragile psyche. Petting the soft hair again, he couldn't stop himself this time and pressed a light kiss to Kuguri's temple, earning a soft grumble and another adorable nose scrunch that reminded him of a rabbit. Too worried another kiss could wake Kuguri up, he leaned back and closed his eyes too, but not before throwing one last victory grin in Shibayama's direction. The next thing he knew was someone shaking his shoulder. He blinked himself awake, his brain taking a while to realize where he was. One glance out of the window told him it was later into the evening already, and the lack of warmth on his thighs that Kuguri was already awake too. Slightly disappointed by that discovery, he looked up, meeting Shibayama's gaze. You won't sleep at night like this. He tried to sound reprimanding, but Inuka knew him too well to be bothered by that. And so he just smiled and caught Shibayama's hand, leaving a kiss on his fingers. No worries, I'll be sleeping like a cat tonight when I have both of you here. He was lying just a little bit. If he wasn't about to do a challenge that required him to be awake long into the night, he would be sleeping without issues. Like this, however, he was slowly getting ready to get Shibayama's usual "I told you so" as he carefully started to turn around, immediately missing the warmth of having Kugure snuggled in his arms. He paused when Kugure whined quietly and curled a bit more into the blanket, his face tense. It didn't seem like he was having a nightmare though, probably just missing the contact. It's okay, darling. I'll be back with you in a bit, I promise. As expected, Shibama cracked his eyes open as soon as he turned fully, blinking a few times before raising his eyebrow a bit. Go to sleep. You're waking everyone up. I'm sorry. I can't fall asleep, so I thought changing positions could help. Apparently slightly more awake now, Shibama clicked his tongue and rubbed his eyes, grumbling something Inoka recognized as "told you so." That bit wasn't surprising, and neither was when Shibama sat up and swung his legs off the bed. Come on, don't wake up now. I'll make some tea. Smiling, Inoka followed his example, silencing the tiny voice in his head berating him for disturbing his boyfriend's sleep because of a challenge. It was Saturday, a free day for both of them. They could sleep in for as long as they wished. When he got to the kitchen, the water was already boiling, and Shibama was waiting prepared with 2 mugs. It filled Inoka with fondness only such domestic sight could bring. He wrapped his arms around Shibama from behind, leaning his chin on top of his head. You are so sweet when you care about us, you know? Yeah, I know. Though you would sometimes deserve a smack instead of tea. For what? I didn't do anything. Oh, well, except dragging you out of bed to make me tea for better sleep, I suppose. Shibama huffed a soft laugh and covered Inoka's hand with his, squeezing lightly. It's fine. I know you would do the same for me if it came to that. Of course. Surrounded by a peaceful atmosphere, they settled by the table, talking in hushed voices to not disturb Kugure too, and once again, Inoka was reminded of how much he loved sharing his life with Yuki. It was exactly those little moments that made him fall even deeper for his boyfriend and turned his heart into a mushy mess. Not that he ever complained. He was just about to pour his feelings out to make sure Yuki knew how grateful he was for him, and perhaps to see him blush a bit, when a soft clap of the door, followed by quiet tapping of bare feet on the wooden floor, stopped him. Soon Kugure waddled into the light, still rubbing sleep from his eyes, but Inoka didn't miss the shadow of panic on his face. Judging by the way Shibama straightened up next to him, he wasn't the only one. Everything okay, love? Why aren't you sleeping? Kugure seemed startled for a second before he lowered his gaze, tension almost seeping from him. I was worried. I woke up and you weren't there. Mentally cooing, Inoka opened his arms to him in a silent invitation. Kugure visibly hesitated before he accepted the offered hand and carefully settled on Inoka's lap. Not wasting a single second, Inoka wrapped his arms around his waist to secure him in place, immediately nuzzling into the crook of his neck. Sorry, we didn't mean to wake you up, or make you worry for the matter. Do you want tea? Shibama was on his feet even before Kugure nodded, leaving the two of them alone by the table while he headed to boil some more water. Everything okay? Kugure seemed surprised by the question, though not too fast and jerky to convince Inoka. He kissed Kugure's cheek and continued down, peppering small kisses along his jaw and behind his ear until Kugure let out a tiny squeal. You know you can tell me, right? I won't judge, no matter what you were scared of. I thought you were gone. Like, gone. I know it's stupid, and it was just because I was still half asleep, but... He opened and closed his mouth a few times without another word coming out before letting out a shaky sigh. Inoka pulled him closer, instinctively entwining their fingers to stop the trembling of his hands. It's okay. We aren't going anywhere, I promise. Not without telling you anyway. But please don't say it's stupid. But it is. I shouldn't be like this when... Now, please listen to me. It's not stupid if it scares you. Especially after you got burned so many times in the past. We understand now, I swear. Kuguri's eyes darted between them and the cup of tea Shibama put in front of him. And then his posture finally relaxed and let him lean into Inuka's embrace. There you go. Now drink the tea while it's warm and then let's go back to bed, You need to rest. I think we all do. True that. As always, Shibama's tea worked like a charm. Kuguri was asleep the moment his head hit the pillow, and Inuka also had a lot to do to stifle the long yawns. He only managed to pull Kuguri into his arms, barely registering Shibama hugging him from behind, before he too slipped into slumber. The bed suddenly felt large. Inuka realized now that it was just him and Kuguri sleeping there. Though perhaps that was because he got used to having to share space with Shibayama, who, despite his smaller frame, was able to take up more space than Inuka would ever give him credit for. How, he had no idea, but having Shibayama's various body parts dug into his back had slowly become a norm. On the other hand, Kuguri slept as if he was scared of taking more than 10 centimeters of bed space, always staying strictly on his side unless he was having a bad dream or one of them cuddled him. Like Inuka was now. A soft smile curled his lips, seeing his beloved's cheek squished against his chest, making his heart swell. It meant his boyfriend was content and feeling safe. And now I have to ruin it. The smile disappeared from his face, a prickle of guilt stinging in his chest for waking Kuguri up just because of a challenge. Sure, it wouldn't really be fair to Shibayama if he didn't, but being fair was the last thing he worried about. He sighed. Well, better start already. The sooner I go ahead, the sooner we can go back to sleep. However, something about the change in his mood had to manifest, as before he moved to gently shake Kuguri awake, Kuguri let out his usual little activation sounds, and then the bright eyes looked up. Damn, he's pretty like this. So? Inuka cracked a small smile, gently patting Kuguri's hair. I'm here, it's okay. Sorry, I thought... Why are you awake? Before Inuka managed to answer, something uncomfortably close to panic crossed Kuguri's face as he propped up on his elbow, laying his hand over Inuka's heart. Did you have a bad dream again? Like before? No. Please tell me that last time. Inuka quickly cupped his cheeks to stop the incoming flow of panic stuttering, mentally kicking himself for not realizing Kuguri's brain could make a connection between anything if he was worried enough. Which was almost always. I'm fine, no bad dreams. I just couldn't fall asleep. You couldn't sleep last week either, is something wrong? No, everything is okay, I promise. It just happens sometimes. Kuguri didn't seem convinced by that, his eyes still searching around Inoka's face as if looking for signs of lies. With a soft sigh, Inoka pulled him back to his chest, leaving a kiss in his hair. So much for not stressing him out, huh? I swear I'm fine. I'm grateful you are worried about me, but you don't have to be. It still took a few moments longer for Kuguri to relax against him again, though Inoka was sure he could still feel Kuguri's heart beating against his ribs. Then, can I do something to help? He clutched the fabric of Inoka's t-shirt in his hand, curling a bit closer to him as if he was trying to hide. I know I'm not good at this, but if there's something, just tell me, I'll do it. Inoka's heart melted. He caressed Kuguri's cheek, taking note of the little shiver running through his body, and wrapped his arm around his waist to secure him in place. Just stay like this. That's all I need right now. The surprised eyes turned to him again, giving him a chance to kiss Kuguri's forehead. I'm serious. Snuggling you is the best thing against sleeplessness. Go back to sleep, You need rest after last week. You too. I know. No worries. I'm sure I'll be snoring in no time. Despite the tiredness already settling, he waited until Kuguri's breathing evened again, taking one last glance at his peaceful sleeping face before he closed his eyes too, glad he could finally let his mind and body rest. He just hoped the next challenge wouldn't require staying up late and ruining his partner's sleep. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Must admit, writing challenges for Polyships is super fun, but on the other hand, it's super difficult because... How to explain it? You have to create a original reaction for 3 people interacting with 1 person, or 2 people with 1 person in this case. And it can't be the same thing as the other Polyships. It's more difficult than the monoships. I don't know why, but it is. I think it's because the interaction of 2/3 people with 1 person, and it all has to be like somewhat original. Hopefully when I get to the challenges like words challenges and not physical, let's say, challenges, it's going to be a bit easier, but... Whew, goddamn. If you have any requests or ideas, the request form is linked in the video description. See you next time.